Welcome back to Two Man Advantage Podcast, and we're talking about NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs are about to start, and hey, how about that? The Raptors looks like they're going to win another division title and make another playoff appearance. So, Mr. Kevin McShan, the NBA basketball guru of the Two Man Advantage Podcast, your thoughts on the matchups for the first round of the NBA playoffs? What players to watch? What teams to watch? And do you have a dark horse in this race?
Well, my dark horse for the race would be the Chicago Bulls, just because Derick Rose is back. We'll see how healthy he is.
For how long, though?
And how long he stays on the floor. From the Canadian perspective, certainly the Raptors winning another division championship continues the conversation about basketball in Canada, which is a good thing. But in terms of what I'll be watching for in the playoffs, I want to see how the big three in Cleveland come together, and because there's a different pressure in the playoffs, and certainly when you have a player like LeBron James, you're expected to win at the highest of levels. And that's still a very young basketball team. It'll be interesting to see how their playoff dynamic works. If you look at the Western Conference, obviously that's the most superior conference between the two. When you look at Golden State, they can score the basketball in bunches. It'll come down to how much defense they play. You never count out the Spurs because they've been through this so many times. So those are just my general thoughts on the playoffs, and certainly what James Harden is doing in Houston will factor into the Western Conference. He should win the MVP this year. And certainly with Dwight Howard coming back, there's an element in the playoffs as well.
That's a lot of information to take in if y'all are listening at home. There is a lot of good teams out there, a lot of surprising teams, and could they flourish in the playoffs, or could they just be have a really great season and then just sink when they come against playing real basketball when it really matters? My team is also to look for is the Atlanta Hawks, like one of the best teams all season, now going up against real tests. I know it's a very weak Eastern Conference in the NBA, but these Atlanta Hawks are really like a land full of misfit toys, and I think that they could surprise a few people. Like you said, there's a lot of pressure on Cleveland to make it back to the finals, but also you talk about the Chicago Bulls and Derick Rose, and if he can stay healthy. So there's a lot of interesting storylines coming along that. But let's keep it local, or as local as we can. Let's talk about the Toronto Raptors, wrapping up their second consecutive Atlantic Division title.
Yeah, I think, as we mentioned before, I think it's a good thing because it engages basketball, the conversation about professional basketball on the north side of the border. But if you look at their individual team, obviously Kyle Lowry will be the key to sort of orchestrating their offense. Valanciunas is a player that I've liked for a long time. He'll be a consistent role player for them. So if you look at the Raptors, for them, it'll come down to mental toughness and having the experience from last year, and the loss against Brooklyn in the first round certainly will give them an impetus to perform at their highest peak in the playoffs. So I'm actually intrigued to see what lessons they've learned from a year ago and how far they can take the Canadian brand of basketball.
Absolutely. So there's going to be a lot of great storylines, and I know, like for me, the team, I don't watch NBA that often. Well, especially not since the Pistons are in the year 3 of their rebuilding process.
Year 3? I thought this was an endless rebuilding
Oh,
project.
no, the Toronto Maple Leafs are endless rebuild, but let's stay on topic. Yeah, so I haven't been watching too many basketball. Well, when I do watch or when I do catch highlights, Golden State Warriors are, they're a fantastic team. I heard something that their superstar guard Stephen Curry,
yeah.
He made 77 consecutive three-pointers
in practice. Yeah,
that is unbelievable.
He's a good shooter, and
yeah.
Certainly him being healthy, because during his first couple of years in the league, he had ankle and knee problems. But you can see the type of player he is when he's healthy, and certainly he is the MVP of the Golden State Warriors, and they've been the best team in basketball for a reason, and number 30 is the reason why.
Absolutely. Well, and it's and Thompson, I believe that's his other.
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson has been
his brothers. Yeah,
has been his partner in crime. So that's great to see, and big shout out to Steve Kerr taking that team in his first year coaching.
Well, he made the right decision in not taking the next job.
Exactly. He made a smart decision, and I'm really pulling for them. I like to see in that Western division, that Western Conference, that's going to be great matchup after great matchup. So if you're not that much of a basketball fan, do yourself a favor, go in. Watch these games, because these players are some of the
quality product.
It's absolutely 100% a fantastic quality product out there.
Because the regular season is over. That's why it's a
That's
quality
right.
product.
All right, Kevin. Let's wrap it up. This podcast, obviously, you can check it out on twomanadvantagepodcast.com. We're on Facebook at Two Man Advantage Podcast. Also on Twitter, you can check out Kevin McShan's great site. He has a lot of good stuff. He had a lot of interviews with great NFL writers about the upcoming NFL draft that's going to be happening at the end of next month, I believe it is.
No, it's the end of this month.
Oh, it's the end of this month. So
April 30th, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So a lot of good stuff.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, check us out.
Absolutely.
And thanks for listening and watching.
All right, we'll talk to you next time.